Hey guys, Moneyman300 back for some more videos here, and this is the community bounty race and tune. If you saw my video on the This Week in Forza, there is a community bounty going on right now to beat RBW Triton, a member of the Forza 10 team, the Turn 10 team for Forza Motorsport out there, and it is on Brands Hatch with the Rolls-Royce Wraith Class B, and you can tune it up to the top of Class B. And what I want to do is just do a quick analysis of the track and a little bit about how to handle and how to drive it. And what I'm going to do is show you my lap. I'm in the low 139.3, low threes there, just under his time. He's in the 139. Fives, maybe 5.5 something, so a couple tenths under. There's more to get, and I'll talk about that as I go through it, but I just want to analyze the lap around here, talk a little bit about a couple things that you can improve upon on what I did, and a little bit about how you should take the track. So I'm going to start it here, and I'll pause it along the way just to talk a little bit. Things to pay attention to are the gears that I'm in and the RPMs that I shift at. You're going to shift it around 68, 6900. It's not really that big a deal, but somewhere in that range. But there are a couple things I could have done, at least one in two spots different with my gearing, and a couple of turns I missed in there. So let's get this thing started and follow along here. So first things first, you're going to brake right about that white marker on the left there and turn in a little bit more. See, just a little wide there. Never really hit the apex. Carried it wide, but did not carry enough speed, and I shifted into fourth gear there. So that back there, that shift back there, and I'll rewind it just a little bit so I can talk about this turn, but that shift there is not necessary. Leave it in third gear here. I was able to, in test drive, and in full disclosure, I'm actually using DTM Lionel's tune when I ran this lap. I do now have my own tune, and I was able to go sub 139 in test drive, but I haven't came back out in rivals and put one above the tune I did with DTM Lionel, who, by the way, has a fantastic tune out there. If you don't want to use mine, download DTM Lionel. Tons of people using it because it's really, really dialed in, and it's a very good tune. I'm pretty sure that we have the same build, just the tune that he has is slightly different than what I have. But anyway, stay in third gear. Do not shift to fourth there. It's not necessary. So let's keep going, and I'll watch this turn. I missed my turn-in point right there. So you want to double apex that turn. You want to hit the early apex, then the late. And it was kind of a lazy turn all the way around. Came out of it okay. This turn here, not bad. Hit the apex there. Back on the throttle decently. Let me see what the throttle percentage is. So I came on it slowly there. Not bad. Was on it. I would like to be able to get on full throttle a little earlier, but there again, don't need to shift into fourth there either. And maybe as a consequence of that, I don't know. But if you come back, I hit fourth gear, and then I brake a little early. You want to carry this all the way out to the edge of the track there, and then turn back in. But I do hit the apex nicely and come out of the turn nicely, which sets you up for this long straightaway, and it's really important that you get set up for that one. But again, I should have carried that last turn a little deeper, and it would have hit the same apex, but would have had just a little more speed coming in. This one's fine. You hit fifth gear. You'll come back down into third as you hit this turn. The key on this turn is to brake, get downshifted, and get off the brake early. You don't want to be hanging onto the brake on this turn. It'll just slow you down too much. So you'll see I'll hit it, brake, and then I'm right back off the brake. We're back on, we're back either on partial throttle or full throttle. So, and it's the same thing with this turn. So you see me hit brake, get right back off of it early. You can go ahead, so you got a little room on this turn here. You can cut this just a little. You probably can't cut much more than that. That's about the max that's going to let you cut and get away with. So you can adjust your turn-in point so that you can cut that just a little bit. But get off the brake early and get back. That way you can get. And I kind of had to coast through that a little. Would like to be able to turn in a little better to not have to do that. And then this turn here, if you're using the turning strips, you'll see it start in about right in here. You want to carry about midway up the hill before you brake. So you want to catch it about that second red marker up there. And again, it's a get on and off the brake and back on the throttle. You can actually cut this a little more than I did here, so there's a little bit of time there. Not too bad, though. You can go about 2 wheels off the track on the cut on that one. But I carry the speed okay. And then you want to brake early for this turn, and you got to stay in the brake a little longer, all the way in through your turn in when you brake on this one. So you brake in, and then I'm back off of it. it's a late throttle turn, so do not get onto the throttle. Don't try to brake late on this, and don't try to get on the throttle too early. So you wait, and then get on it. Wasn't bad. I could have still hit the throttle a little earlier there and improved just a little bit. And this last turn is not too bad. Again, brake early for this turn. Brake early and get out of the brake early. And then just progressively get back onto the throttle. And then take it on in through the finish. So that lap there was 39.3 or 139.3, 300 or 302 or something like that. So a decent lap. You know, nothing spectacular, but good enough to stay in front of them. And I'll run it some more. That was after just a little bit, probably 10, 15, maybe not even that many laps of running it and just kind of understanding my brake points and my turn-ins. So with that being said, what I want to do is go over and take a look and give you guys my build and the tune on this. You know, whether you want to use DTM Lionel, who a lot of people are using, or you want to give mine a roll, or you know, if you want to be able to take mine and apply your own, which I think is fun. You know, I ran his, and then I to figure out what his tune felt like, and then went back and tuned my own. This is actually was not a very easy car to tune at all. It is more difficult than your average tune, and I did struggle a little bit. I probably started over 2 or 3 times. The build's pretty easy and pretty straightforward. The tune can be a little bit dicey and a little bit difficult in this. So let's back out of here. See, it's in like 1300th place, but it's not terrible for just a few laps, and it is out in front of him. And the thing is, tons of people are closed in. Like if I go, 139.2, all of a sudden you're in the top 1,000. I mean, it's everything is so compressed in there because people are running about the same times, running that same car, and a lot of people running the same tune as well. So the times are really compressed in there. Sometimes you'll have a 2 or 3 second difference between first place and top 100. There's like a 2 or 3 second difference between like first place and 2,000th place in this one. So really compressed times in here. First off, let's go look at our upgrade and roll through these real quick. The only thing you can do is a drivetrain swap in here, and we are not doing any drivetrain. I am using the Forza arrow in the front and in the rear, so we get our adjustable arrow. For tires, this is where there's maybe little things you can do. So you can see I tried a couple different things. The goal here, my original goal was to put some grip on it and see how it ran, and it really didn't run very well because this car is heavy. Look at this thing, 4,670 pounds. That's after taking weight out. So what I did is I made the focus to be getting the weight out of the car a little bit more. And I'm pretty sure that's what other people are doing as well. But I did try this with some upgraded grip, and look at that. Look at how much PI that takes away, and at the end of the day, it didn't work very well. So we end up on stock tire compound. The grip's not terrible with it. You gotta be nice with the throttle and don't make too many sudden movements with it. But overall, it grips okay. I have nothing in the front. This is kind of like a maybe a D or a C class muscle car build is what I would liken it to. Where you don't do much with the front, you don't do anything with your tire compound, but then you take and you jam as much width on the rear as you can to make up for that grip. So we do have the 335s full upgrade in the rear. Stick at our wheels, and this is where we're trying to go light. I don't know if these are the lightest, but they're real close. This is CXR Compomotive. I think these are slightly lighter. Slightly would be an understatement. Oh no, those are heavier, 71 pounds. So these might be, if they're close. If they're not, and we get that 4671 out of that, I don't know. If you roll through here. So the thing about this car that you'll notice is that the weight makes a huge difference. Like, that there's 70 pounds in those wheels alone. It's just crazy. So there is the wheels. You can't even change your rim sizes. So that takes something out of there. So you get those wheels on there. We'll be good with that one. Next up, let's move on over into our drivetrain area. We do not have a clutch on there. We also just have stock transmission. Just too much to go up here. It takes 12 PI, and there just isn't anywhere to go get 12 PI from. We got a weight play, get as much as we can. You can see I've been up here too. There's one extra difference to get that 8 pounds, but we're not able to do that, so we do have the sport drive line. And then we do have our adjustable race differential. Next up in our platform and handling, we're going to have the race brakes. We're going to have our race springs. We're going to have our race front anti-roll bar, our race rear anti-roll bar. We are not doing a roll cage at all. This is always weird when it does that. So you get this one, and you could get 65 pounds. It adds on there, and technically says it gives you some handling and brakes. I don't know that I would buy that. You go all the way to here and get a little bit more back and maybe find some more weight in there. But the problem is where you add weight to get weight, and it's actually adds so much weight that it affects your handling. So nothing in our roll cage. And then we do have some weight reduction. We were able to get all the way up to the sport weight reduction, which helps. That takes 500, almost 600 pounds off. So this is what makes this at least drivable around the track. So the car, basically what I end up doing is just getting as much weight out of it as you can and still maintain a little bit of grip. And there's nothing in the performance parts. There's nothing you can do in here. So no performance parts at all in this, or engine upgrades, I should say, in there. So that's all of our build. Let's hop over and take a look at the tune. Now, we do have higher tire pressure, really going for responsiveness. Because this thing is so heavy, it's mushy to drive. So a lot of what I was doing in here is trying to make this thing feel at least a little bit responsive. So because it just was not responsive at all, and I wanted to get a better feel for the responsiveness of the car, and the tire pressure helped making those tires get a little more air in there, being a little bit more responsive, seemed to do the trick. So we are sitting at 33 and 33, no adjustable gearing in this. Our alignment is at 2.1 and 2.7. So sometimes I do this a lot in a mid-engine car, but occasionally, if you just can't get the back end under control, having more negative camber in the rear versus the front seems to work okay. It doesn't work in every car, but in this instance, it worked well. I left my toe and my caster angle. I thought about coming down and messing around with the caster angle a little bit to see if it would help with the braking and with coming out of the turn, but I ended up just going ahead and leaving it there. Next up, our roll bars. I did quite a bit of adjusting in the roll bars to get the car to turn. Being kind of mushy and being a big car, you didn't have much grip, so you get that late oversteer, but it had a fair amount of understeer on your turn in and your mid turn. So I did play around with the roll bars a little bit. At one point I had 1 and 40 in here on the front and the rear. That was a bit drastic. So I kind of compromised here in the middle a little bit with the 11.7 and 26.1. Next up is our springs. I didn't make a ton of adjustments here. I actually left the front default. I wanted to leave the car a little bit stiffer, so it was more responsive. So I did leave the front, but I dropped the rear to 982 to help with the grip coming out of the turns that let you get on the throttle a little bit more without completely spinning the wheels. Ride height, I had it all the way down. I went ahead and bumped it up just a little bit to handle those curbs as you jump up over them a little bit. So we ended up at 4.3 and 5.7. Ended up not quite as stiff as I normally go with the rebound. Went 9.0 and 8.9, and a little bit stiffer than normal on the bump at 3.9 and 3.8. Just again, that bringing those a little tighter together than I would normally have them just helped a little bit with the responsiveness of the car. Did go full downforce on this. I actually tried no downforce, and it was really skittish. Might have been a touch faster, but to be honest, you're not looking for top speed on this track anyway. So it's a lot better to go with the full and get a little bit more handling out of it. So we are at 100 and 200. I was all over the place with the brakes. This is where I ended up. I'm still not convinced it's the right place. Right, I was as low as 39 and as high as 56, and I'm normally at 48, and that actually didn't feel bad, but I never found a great spot for the brakes, and probably because the thing just weighs so dang much that the brakes never feel great anyway. So kind of play around with that to your preference. And my brake pressure, pretty typical at 150%. Ended up at 35 and 20, which is a little different, a little higher on the deceleration, trying to help with my turn in than I normally would have. And then 35, which was okay. It was controllable coming out of the turn, so I didn't really have too much problem with the acceleration differential. So that's all your build and tune. Get out there. Go get you the what was that? I forgot the car. Anyway, go get you the unicorn car. I should remember that. What was that car? Here, hang on a second. Let me. I'm looking at my computer right now. I might as well just tell you what it is. Or not. I'm not in a good spot. Let's look at our news here. I forgot what the car was. It's never in news, is it? Should be in news. It's not. Oh, geez. It's like a week old. There it is right there. Anyway. It's the Vantage. It's a 1977 Vantage. Looks a lot like a Mustang, but super cool. Unicorn car. The only way you can get it is by competing and winning in this. I think they're going to pick some people at random as well that could win also. But anyways, I want to get a build out there and a tune and a little bit of an analysis of the track and the car and let you guys get a good run at this. So I'm going to end it with that. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.